Here.
Yep,
You had-
we're here.
You had plenty of time to prep.
I wasn't paying attention.
Come on, Gandhi.
Step up your game.
Yeah, no, I don't, no.
No?
Yeah, just no. Alright, so, if you recall last time, this wall of, well, birds has sort of descended upon the street. And we'll get to them in a moment. But we're going to pick up first with Drew, who has quite wisely turned around and started booking it down the road.
Looking for some shelter. Flying things don't like to be inside structures and whatnot. Typically,
yeah. You just looking for any old building or one that looks particularly still somewhat intact? Or...
it needs to be relatively intact and not full of windows, because that would make it easy for them.
Okay. It doesn't take too long before you do find a building that suits that description. What it used to be, if the sign outside wasn't faded to all, basically nothing, you might be able to tell.
Oh, he's not interested in signs.
Yeah, so, but you're quite quickly booking it inside. The inside is, as you'd expect, relatively barren. Not a whole lot of any value or interest here. But it does offer momentary, you're out of the line of sight of the birds.
Yes, he's not going to be looking around for stuff more than means of ingress and egress that they could use, and based on if it seems like it would be relatively difficult for them to be getting at him from multiple angles, he's going to look out the door to see if anybody followed him, because if they're close by, he doesn't want to shut the door in their face, but if they're not close by, he's going to shut the door.
I don't think anybody has followed you.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, they're all just standing out there while that cloud descends on them. Close.
Yep, they're all right. They're dead. Looks like you're here now.
And then there's time to look around, which can happen whenever.
Your looking around, however, is interrupted by a individual walking through the wall. A ghost. Gives you a bit of a wave down and is, you've been called here as well. Something big is happening, I feel.
There's quite an event going on right now, and probably more to it than I was able to see.
What do you mean by event? I've only recently come up here, honestly.
There is a group of sentient robot people who are gearing up to fight a tremendous sky-darkening cloud of hellbats. I don't know. It's hard to see.
Certainly would explain why all signs point to there being a flood. Okay. I have to keep an eye on this then.
And
have you been under recently?
No, not for a week or so.
I can't say you're missing much. Things are taking a bit of a turn for the worst, I suppose you could say, in some cities, Some rivers drying up completely, some overflowing, things are going interestingly down. Figured I'd wait it out up here.
Well, welcome to another flood. Not that any of what's happening up here would be able to really affect you. I don't think.
I hope not. Usually can't. There's been a few instances around here. Ever since we showed up here, it's been a lot of interesting things coming downstream, I gotta say. But it all flows into the ocean, so what does it matter, really?
The cycle turns.
Well, that it does. I've just got this funny feeling there's going to be some ghosts roaming around, and gotta go make sure they're not getting into any trouble. Gives a bit of a bow before just walking across the room through another wall. Doesn't care at all for doors. He
That's a
quite
ghost.
well adapted to his own life here.
That's a ghost who knows what he's doing. Yeah, Drew will give a farewell as he walks out, and assuming nothing else happens, he will look around, but more for first thing he's going to be looking for is self-defense purposes, like needing to close up windows or something along those lines.
Okay. Well, we'll leave Drew to his barricading.
It's window shopping.
And go back to this other situation, we can call it. So, Stahl, the person you attempted to grapple has disappeared behind a wall of shadowy feathers, which are now squawking at you.
Alright. Perchance, is Vitus still like within like 30 feet of me?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, at this time, Vitus is going to yell at Stahl. Stahl, back here! Shield me now!
Let me see.
Oh, double mic.
Yeah, we have you on roll 20 for some reason.
Now what I could do.
This isn't a time to get fancy with the rules. I need you to put your body in between me and the mage. I can get us out of this.
Kalmir is currently waving his torch.
The birds are, staying away from it, but are pretty clearly not that afraid of it with their numbers.
Gone creatures of darkness.
They don't appear to be like they could have like engulfed you in the swarm by now, but they do kind of seem content with just kind of wall.
And at this point, I can't delay any further. I'm gonna shout, "Wise one, turn that stick of yours into the sun."
Done.
It'll burn these things, at least if what I'm feeling is correct. They all have something very similar to me inside of them.
Similar to you, are you sure it won't burn you?
That's
too?
why I'm commanding Stahl to get over here.
Alright. I just kind of lean over on Vitus to cover him.
Yeah, and I make sure to make sure that he's covering any sort of flesh, and I'm also kind of pulling up my suit jacket and wrapping it around me somewhat.
Alrighty then. So I'll be casting Transform Energy on my torch to turn it into sunlight. Hooray. Let's see here. So I run it through this helper already. So it's going to be 7 dice with a chance die for paradox.
Why?
It'll be
Why a chance die for paradox?
Because I had a reason. Instant casting and advanced duration.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want it to only last 5 turns.
Dealer's discretion there.
Well, with advanced duration, it can last up to a month, if I so choose.
And it's only a chance die, so.
Yeah. All right. So we'll do. I can cancel it any time, right? Yeah, whatever. I'll just do a month. Let's see that. Okay, so I'm gonna be rolling. Summary. I think it was 7. Yes, 7 dice with a chance die paradox.
Okay. So give me the roll and whether or not you're going to try to contain or release it.
So let's see me. And I will try to contain it if possible. Ooh, 3 successes. It's not a praxis, so no exceptional.
Right, so containing it.
The dice
Take
has
the
to be
roll
rolled first.
Yeah.
Chance die.
I'm just going to roll a d10.
I like my chances because Ian's not rolling. Aha! Win. By the power of the sun.
Yeah, so your torch becomes sunlight.
Wait that around.
This gets more of an effect than just, them slowly backing off. There's a lot more screeching as these walls sort of falls backwards almost. The sphere of light that you would basically be creating kind of now makes a sphere of there are no more Strix.
Here.
Yes, they're still kind of, pushing each other back, and some are still, singeing. Specifically singeing. But they are actively trying to move away, but still kind of maintain this blockage on the road. They have retreated a fair distance, though.
Okay. Is there any sign of the supernal one?
There's not.
Okay, well, now that I have some room to breathe, they're like right around the edge of the bubble, right?
Pretty much.
Essentially.
You can still see them due to other, ambient light, moonlight, and whatnot. But they're just on the edge of this isn't burning me, but they're still wildly screeching and uncomfortable flapping of wings.
Okay. Well, there's sunlight now.
Now I'm just imagining Kalmir charging them and using his mace as a club.
Yeah, it wouldn't get close enough to them to hit him.
Well, you wouldn't throw it. You would just charge them down with it and use it like a baseball bat.
No, I mean, even if I charge them, they're going to stay outside the radius of my sun, so I won't be able to reach them. I assume it's a fairly large bubble.
Yeah, it is still a torch.
It is still a torch, yes.
It
So
gets
maybe
a decent amount of light, but more than you can probably run before they flutter away.
Probably, yeah, they're probably pretty fast.
As soon as you start taking steps forward, they're gonna back up. I mean,
If only you had a way to project it.
Well,
That's the thing, Mage.
yes. You say that like I don't.
No, I say that like you do, and I just wanted to remind you of that.
I could just cast a separate spell to up the power of this one. But what's everyone else doing as I'm thinking about my next move?
I'm actively just trying to keep Stahl and my coat, covering any sort of flesh that I have exposed.
Yeah, I think I'm too occupied to do anything.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, Vitus is trying not to die, and Stahl's trying to help him not die.
I realized how troublesome this would be for me as well, but this was the right answer to the situation that we have currently. I mean...
Okay. Oh, I mean, we're here. In our bubble of safety. Well, safe for me, anyway.
Stay for Stahl, too.
Yeah, safe for me and Stahl. If Drew were here, he'd be safe too. But he's busy.
Oh, he's plenty safe.
Yeah, he's safe too. He thinks.
So, I mean, unless Stahl is actually going to start moving me towards any sort of safety area, we're just standing there, essentially. Because obviously I can't see to move, really.
So war of attrition.
Would be kind of hard to both shield you and move you at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick you up like a baby. Carry you like a damsel.
However, it is relevant at this point. The robotic bodies that have been sort of buried in the dirt for so long that you've seen here, at this point do all start to spark to life and slowly begin to rise.
The rise of the machines.
Here's a question I forgot to ask. As I was walking through, did all these machine bodies have souls in them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I did not ask
Not the
that
time.
No, this is a metagame question. That would be something that Kalmir probably would have
That
noticed.
would have been something he would have noticed walking through, but
Well. Stahl, some more friends of yours?
Can't even...
Look, man, it was one robot.
Well, now there are many of these so-called robots. Kalmir learned a new word.
does he know what it means? Probably not.
But he knows that's what they are.
Okay.
They are robots.
But yeah, as they begin to wake up and stand and get their orientation, they do look around and their gazes fall upon you for an uncomfortably long amount of time before they begin moving and sort of retreating almost to group up. A number of them in the dirt have dug out old rusty weapons and whatever they can find.
I'm assuming that I can at least hear this commotion going on.
You can hear a lot of metal moving and dirt, shuffling, and there's clearly commotion going on.
I'm gonna kind of mutter to Stahl, I really hope these robots start shooting soon.
Shooting at who?
Preferably not at me.
I don't know. I speak from experience here. They don't seem like they'd be much help.
Oh! Oh! Roasting the DM's army. I'm not sure how that's gonna work for you or me.
This is my only army.
He's already got 2 armies.
I was gonna say there's at least 2 armies here right now.
There's 2 here, a third here, a fourth coming. There's a lot.
that's
Don't
right.
worry.
Spirits are coming.
So it's just continuing to spook the Strix with sunlight torch.
Pretty much.
Unless Kalmir does something else. Because we
I could-
legitimately can't do anything else.
I can make it much more intense, but it might be even more uncomfortable for you.
Like, how intense are we talking about here?
Well, control light
One
is
moment.
only forces. Oh, well. He asks for an explanation, then he walks away. Blah, blah.
Typical vampire.
No, right? Okay, so control light is forces 2. Each level of potency doubles the light's incandescence.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure the only reason Gandhi hasn't said anything is because he's like, oh, this is a torch. Stahl's body and your clothing's probably enough protection.
Yeah, but if I go all out, as it were,
Yeah,
Stahl's
this is
body and
not
cloak may
good.
not be enough for reflected light.
Yeah, if reflected off the dirt, it's still gonna be bright.
Yeah, basically, I take... Every turn, I take 2 lethal damage.
It's every 3 seconds.
And I'm already very close to wound penalties. So I'd go down very, very quickly at that
Very
point.
quickly. So,
But if push comes to shove, like if this situation presses on, this is me as a player, do it.
well, Kalmir's gonna keep a wary eye on these rising robot people. If they show him any aggression, then the situation will change. But
Yeah.
for now, he's content in his bubble of light.
So, at this point, I'm gonna ask Stahl and Kalmir to give me a perception check. I just
Hey.
can't see.
And I give a listening check?
There's not gonna be any sound to listen.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, barely. 1 success.
Okay, here you go. Give me. Okay, here it is. Oh,
Womp womp.
You're paying
Unfortunately,
attention
not
to
looking
Vitus.
in the right direction. So, Kalmir,
Yes.
despite how bright it is on this street, and the light kind of reflecting off the old concrete and bricks, one of the walls of one of the nearby buildings darkens. It seems to the light dims for a moment, and it gets darker to pitch black.
This looks eerily similar to that other thing that I had looked at earlier.
Does, yes.
And it's on a wall nearby. And that one guy, I assume, came out of that. And if it's a pathway to the supernal, that's bad news if it's used against us. Is there anything coming out of it at the moment?
At the moment, no. Give it
Oh,
5 seconds, and yes. The first thing that comes out is a very shadowy arm.
Arm. Is it a large arm or is it a normal-sized arm?
Just a human-sized arm, which follows quickly with a shoulder and the rest of the front of the body.
What does it look like?
Shadow.
Just a shadow
Kind
person.
of misty, shadowy, almost like the Strix. I'm going to say Strix just for the sake of that's what they are.
There, yeah.
For brevity.
Well, now Kalmir is no longer concerned about the robots, shifting his concern over to this shadow person. Can I look at it with force? Well, normally forces in prime, I'm pretty sure it's a supernal thing, so it's probably got mana of a high degree. If it's coming out of that.
Yeah. I mean, Prime definitely lights up. It is twisting with supernal magics. Unlike the birds.
Or the birds reacting to it? Are they?
They seem unfazed.
Unfazed. Either they don't care or it's on their side.
Yeah. Even
Leaning
if they
toward
want
it.
it to react to it, they can't
It's
get
in the
to it.
sun.
There's a bit
Yeah.
of a sunlight sphere in the way.
Okay. Alright. Okay. I don't know what it is. I don't want to fire at it not knowing what it is. But then again, I don't want to be fired at by it.
So I guess
So-
this comes down is Kalmir shoot first, ask questions later type character or not?
He is not, actually.
Then that's your answer.
So what's it doing? You said it came out of the wall?
Yes.
Is it floating now, or is it...
It is standing on the ground.
Okay.
It doesn't quickly emerge. But it does emerge and sort of just take an upright standard. Basically, you're just standing on the side of the road posture. Before eventually it raises its hand and beckons
Beckon. Which direction is it beckoning?
towards it.
From me? Like beckoning me to approach it?
It's sort of kind of looking just in your general direction, the same general direction as all of you. It doesn't have eyes, you can't tell exactly what it's looking at, but its head is turned that direction.
Okay. Well, if it was a bad thing, it may not be beckoning. Maybe it's here to help. Though I would not be able to tell one way or the other. Stahl, Vitus, I think this being is offering an escape. Where's Drew? Well, Vitus couldn't see anyway.
Didn't any of us notice?
Well, you didn't before, but I'm pointing it out now. And but Drew is elsewhere.
I mean,
Pretty
we're
sure the coward just ran away.
Well,
he's like, hold on, I got to talk to somebody before I murder him.
running away is what we're trying to do at the moment, because I don't know how many of these things there are or how long this is going to keep up. So here's what appears to be a shadowy escape room.
Moving with that is going to be difficult, Vitus says, as he remains, cocooned in his cocoon of Stahl and jacket.
Okay, guys, this is when my specialty throwing gets used.
Is it a merit throw person?
Throw Vitus.
He's wanted
Actually,
to do this since the beginning.
Now that I think about it, I think that is actually a merit.
Wait, really?
He's like, hold up.
Somewhere about using someone as a weapon. But
Well,
anyways,
Sized weaponry.
well, I'm going to approach the shadowy figure and shadowy gate. I don't know how far behind my sunlight torch is going to reach in terms of Stahl and Vitus. They may have to start moving if I move.
Yeah, this is gonna get tricky.
Are we sure we can trust this?
It's either that or we stay here with this swarm of demon bird, shadow bird.
Vitus kind of goes, I don't know. I think we're relatively safe against the birds here.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
You're curtailing my want of following the shiny thing.
All right.
We don't
So Stahl kind of waddles over.
Yeah, this is not gonna be easy because I've got to kind of waddle with him.
I could move around. You can stay around the edge of the bubble where it's weak. And then I can go look for Drew if he obviously doesn't want to stay here. This is a bad place.
Well,
Drew, where are you?
Not gonna hear you.
Not gonna hear
So, Vitus and Stahl are shuffling.
yes, we're shuffling.
To where?
And I'm assuming Stahl's trying to keep up with Kalmir.
Yeah.
So we're moving with you, Kalmir, albeit slowly because, well,
I had to walk backwards.
yeah, he has to
much,
walk
yeah.
backwards, and I have to keep pressed up against him.
Kalmir is looking for Drew, or
He's looking for him while, for now, moving towards the shadow gate. He wants to examine it closer and the person. But if once he determines that it's safer than here, then he can maybe have Stahl and Vitus go in, and then he can look for Drew at his leisure.
well, you certainly don't see him as you're moving towards this gate.
Okay.
As you get closer, within like 10 feet of the gate and the shadowy figure, the figure itself does dissipate into kind of a, kind of dissolves into smoke. But the dark bit of the wall remains.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, your hand goes through when you touch it.
Goes through and pull it back. Nothing weird.
Your
Besides
hand's
it-
still there.
Still there. Ooh, I still have my hand. That was a risk in and of itself.
It's cold and kind of feels like you're pushing through a very almost. It kind of feels like almost cold cotton candy. That sort of like puffy, not quite even. You wouldn't even call it a solid, but it technically is a solid.
So
It's the
probably
Nickelodeon gag dimension.
I couldn't think of a better description.
spider silk for Kalmir. Would he'd understand that better?
Yeah, kind of like a spider web.
Like spider web.
Very
It's a bit-
solid spider web.
It's a bit thick, but I can push through it. So, Stahl, come this way. I do believe this is an escape.
Just throw me. Just do it. I know you want to.
All right. You have to roll for this.
Of course. It wouldn't be any fun otherwise.
Exactly.
It took so much convincing.
Give me a strength athletics.
I'm very, very, very reluctant to do this, but I'll oblige
Sure.
your wishes.
Just this once.
Since you asked nicely.
Okay, so
I'm very much about fulfilling people's dreams.
You're just chucking him into the wall. It's a very weird way to say it, but
That
Vitus.
smile.
you are hurled forward. Face first into a wall, but you don't exactly face plant. I mean, you don't face plant immediately. As you're thrown through the wall, I guess give me like a dex athletic to not immediately fall.
please get knocked out by this. That'd be really funny. Oh, you're a vampire. Never mind.
Because I have to do it, otherwise I take negatives. That's my last willpower.
You don't have to power roll. That doesn't really matter.
Just fall on your face. Just
I've had
Let it
enough
happen.
of that.
Okay.
I mean, it could still happen. I mean, at the end of the
I
day.
know, you could just
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Despite should have just face planted.
Yeah, you.
You know what? No, I'm gonna take a dramatic failure here.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're done.
Stoller,
So
you're a lot
you're,
stronger than you thought.
Yeah, your adventure through the wall is not without its peril, as you are still thrown through the sunlight into the wall.
Okay.
So take a turn of whatever damage you take in sunlight. I don't
Too
remember what it was. I
lethal?
think lethal or something.
Yes, it's too lethal, which means my health boxes are now completely full.
Of
Oh
Lethal?
no, no, not of lethal. No, and not completely full. I've got one more health box before it's all filled with lethal and bashing.
you.
So you're at
almost-
-2.
Not just that. He's almost in torpor.
Look, you asked for this, okay?
He is 5 bashing away from torpor, yeah. Or no, not 5. 6. I think.
Oh, is he?
I can't count. I don't know. He's still got a mostly bashing damage, so
Okay.
you don't go
I'm-
into torpor until full lethal.
Right, when the last one is filled with lethal. I was mispicturing it then.
Yeah.
In that case.
He's good for now. But yeah, you're thrown forward and burn on your way through. But you do stumble enough on the other side to catch your balance before completely face planting. You are thrown into what appears to be a room. However, much like the wall you were thrown into, it's basically pitch black.
Even for my eyes?
You could see the windows of this room let in enough light that you can make out what's going on, but the floor is black, the walls are black. There's enough texture that you can tell it used to be bricks, but it's dark. Darkened, I suppose, is the word.
If there's windows, I'm gonna actually move slowly towards the window to see if I can see what the hell's going on.
Okay. Yeah, so the outside is much the same picture. The street is there, and there's buildings on the other side.
I think Gandhi froze.
Okay, so it wasn't just me.
Oh,
You froze.
am I back?
Yes.
Yes.
Now you are.
Yeah.
Re-describe the outside.
So yes, the street is what you sort of expect. There's a road. There are buildings on the other side. Some old cars in the road, but it's black.
Does it look
Much
like
the building itself.
Does it look like a carbon copy of where we were, or is it just a completely different place?
It's a different. You can tell based on how run down and broken some of the buildings look. You're likely in the same city, but it's not the same street.
Well, Vitus actually at this point, he's not feeling too great. So he's actually just gonna kind of sit with his back towards the window and hopefully wait for one of his companions to show up.
Yes, going back to those two. What are you doing? Vitus has disappeared into the wall.
I'll
You look
just
like you enjoyed that.
more than you realize, and I just take a little dip in the portal with my feet and just go on through.
I'm gonna look for Drew while you step in.
Okay. So, Stahl, you find yourself in the same room as Vitus, who is sitting against the wall on the other side of the room. Kalmir, as you
Yes, go ahead.
yes, you Stahl disappears into the wall similarly. As you turn to begin your search, well, the guns are pointed at you. The collection of the robots that have pulled back down the street have grouped up enough and there are enough of them armed that they've formed a bit of a firing line.
I see. We were just leaving. Want you to know, if I leave, this torch is coming with me, and all of those demon birds are going to swarm you guys. So, I'm gonna go look for my last companion. So, I do not mean you any harm.
Give me a... Would it be presence or manipulation persuasion?
He's using words, I would say manipulation.
Yeah, give me manipulation persuasion.
Right.
I,
That's
however,
not gonna be good.
I was gonna say I, however, do not know which one he would have preferred.
Well, I would prefer that one, yes, but it's still not going to be good. Yeah, so no successes.
Okay. Not that Kalmir would probably know what it means, but you do hear the charging handle go off of a rifle down the road.
They've made noise.
Oh no.
Well, now I have a choice, don't I? Part of me wants to keep the group together. But my character would prioritize his own life over someone else he's just met recently. So Kalmir's going to back up slowly into the portal, and hopefully Drew is able to find a way out. Yeah.
So as your first foot goes through the portal, the first shot rings out and chips into the brick near you. Don't know if that makes him go any quicker, but
Yes, he is now jumping backwards and turning off the sunlight on the torch.
okay.
That was gonna be my next question. I was like, because I'm gonna take another point, I'm gonna take another 2 lethal here.
Yeah, he turns off the sunlight and then jumps back. And curses them in a language they don't understand.
So we're gonna jump back to Drew for a moment.
Sorry, Drew.
No worries.
It's been a few minutes since you've made your way into this building and boarded it up.
Did the ghost passing through the walls leave any plasm behind?
Do they leave plasm for just existing, or is it only manifestations?
I think when they touch
remember.
stuff, but I think they might have to manifest too. I'd have to look it up. I don't know.
Hold on, I have it open. I checked like earlier and saw yes, you need ghosts. Ghosts that use other manifestations in the living world leave a trail of plasm equal to the essence cost of the manifestation.
No, so they didn't leave any behind then.
What they have? Hold on.
Ghosts
They
that
might have.
materialize leave residual plasm equal to their corpus. And if they use manifestations, they leave essence.
Double check if he used a manifestation. Don't believe so. But possibly.
Sorry to derail, but the Geist is hungry.
Yeah.
Although it's not technically a manifestation, he did do something that I'm gonna say does leave plasm behind.
All right.
So there's none immediately in the room, but just peeking back the way he came, you can't walk through walls quite as easy. But
Implying that he can.
I mean, you can. Anyone can walk through walls if they're fast enough. But I digress. Heading into the back rooms of this building and checking the rooms behind the wall he came out of, there is a pool, essentially, of essence.
So,
Essence
the
plasma.
plasm, yeah. For the uninitiated, for a Geist to gain plasm, they need to eat it. So
Like the wall.
basically, yeah, because that's the way to get the most out of it. Because it's kind of hard to like scoop, so you might as well just like eat it.
That's backwards, Stahl. We can't read it.
Ain't
Backwards.
Yeah, so there's 3 plasm there.
Click, nom, nom, nom.
I don't know what plasm tastes like, but there you go. I can't describe that because I don't know what it tastes like.
Is there a texture?
It's like ghost body.
Yes, of course, absolutely.
This is almost like that time I had to research how vitriol tasted. I actually had to do that research.
And what was the answer? I don't remember.
Citrusy oil.
Citrusy oil. Okay, I don't remember now.
Right on.
Okay.
So now that we've had a little bit of minor ectophagia going on.
Yeah, it's about when you finish up licking the plasm that the gunfire starts again. Quite close down the road, if you had to guess.
So Drew will want to peek out a window or door to see like what's going on sky-wise and gunfire-wise.
Okay. So by the time you peek out, the scene is interesting. This swarm of shadowy bird locusts, the Strix here, have mostly dispersed. They're still relatively close. You can see a lot of them. They're still far more than anyone would, far more bird than anyone really would be comfortable with having above them. There are a number of them on the street, as dead as a shadow can be, essentially. In addition, there are a number of now broken robots, as well as a number of, you can only assume, injured, limping away down the road. More interestingly are the number of ghosts that have now appeared on the road, hovering above many of the broken bodies.
Well, that's interesting. Thought these were robots, but they have ghosts. What? Okay.
In addition, they're ghosts. They're ghosts, the ghost, whatever they are. They are appearing very fleshy human. They don't appear to be copies of the robots themselves.
Ooh. Oh, that is interesting. So it's probably not. Well, okay. Drew needs to step out there, but he also needs to be very stealthy. I don't know that he's going to be able to do that, but we'll see.
I figured, are you gonna stealth roll this, trying to exit the building? Okay.
Yeah. Oh well.
It was a valiant attempt.
Yeah. It's not really his thing.
So you made some makeshift fortifications. Unfortunately, they didn't come down as easy as they went up, or as quietly as they went up. By the time you're out on the street, the retreating machines have very clearly noticed you. But they continue their retreat, if you could call it that. Their pullback down the road.
Their withdrawal. Fighting withdrawal, I'd imagine.
Occasionally there's a shot or two that rings out at some of the birds circling above, but the birds are dissipating rather quickly.
That's good. That's mostly what he wanted to be stealthy for, but so gonna guess that Drew does not see the rest of them who used to be out in the middle of all of that.
No, they appear to be gone.
So he's going to continue to try to be sneaky and lightly use cover, because if the shooters are leaving, then cover's not all that necessary, and if the birds are leaving, cover's not all that necessary, but he's still going to try to be safe while he heads out to investigate where they used to be, but also where these ghosts are with the robot bodies.
Okay. Yeah, both sides appear to give you no real resistance as you make your way down the street. The ghosts naturally acknowledge your presence, since, well, they can see you and they are aware that you are quite interestingly sort of dead, sort of not dead.
And can see them, which probably the still living robots can't. So Drew's not going to waste any time, and other than trying to be somewhat stealthy and approach one of them. I have questions.
So the second undead that we got report of is not quite a vampire then, huh?
No, I'm not a vampire. No, I'm just kind of dead. Kind of.
Well, it looks like so are we finally, huh?
Which is surprising to me that you're dead and here.
Yeah, there's always been ghost stories, huh? It shouldn't surprise me that ghosts are a thing. I guess we are them now.
Yeah, and I can help, but I thought you were robots.
Line between human and robot got a little blurred in the final days of the war, I gotta admit.
So, are you a created being, or are you a person put into a robot?
Well, I mean, back in the day, I would have said, created by the Almighty Father and God, praise be to him. But now, well, who knows anymore? But no, I was born much like anyone else, and well, we took up metal to fight, and it's a long story. I gotta be honest. A lot of
Understandable.
Decades of losing ground, and a lot of us made a choice to make a final spite towards those leeches.
I can't eat you if you're metal.
That was the entire plan.
Seems like it worked. mostly at least.
Have you seen this city?
You didn't get eaten, did you?
Some would argue that'd be preferable than watching your entire world and everyone you fought to save burn.
Don't you possibly become one of them if they eat you?
That was, what we were told. A lot of people said that. A lot of people weren't quite as sure. Precautions were taken. Position got overrun. Napalmed it.
Hell of a way to go.
It's a way. So I guess our fight's over though now, huh?
Possibly, mostly. There are still ways you can help, but it would take some doing to keep you here. There are ways to anchor you so that you can help, but until you grow into this phase of being, you won't be very capable of helping.
Honestly, why would we? Why anchor here? There's not much left besides a bunch of stubborn people who refuse to die.
There is much to pass on to as well.
Well, if ghosts are what happened after death, I'm sure there's going to be plenty more, and we'll see what happens.
We may not have started out on the best of terms, but helping those who have crossed over is something I do quite a lot of these days. So you can let your comrades know I'm a resource you can draw on.
Ah, yes. Let me just call them over from my ghostly with my ghostly voice. I'll get right on that. Don't you worry.
I don't mean the living. I mean those of you who have been killed